guys, I'm going to talk about a really serious topic, and I am going to be brutally honest, so I hope you are all ready to go. Okay, we're going to talk about covers. Now, I know that there's probably 500,000 videos about covers. Why? Because covers are art and they're beautiful. And there is nothing more awesome than picking up a cover and just wanting to, pet it. Actually, the last book I bought off a cover, let me grab it off of my shelf here. Okay, last book I bought off a cover pretty much alone is The Last Namsara. This, guys, seriously, like it's the metallic and the reflective and the simplicity and the gold. And I picked it up and I was just like, oh, it's so pretty. And then I flipped it over and it said, "The old stories to dragons." And I was like, dragons? Done. Pretty? Dragons? Done. And I bought it. Covers are hugely, 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 hugely important in the publishing world. People say don't judge a book by its cover. I say bullcrap. Everybody judges a book by its cover. So for those of you who are in the independent world and are doing your own covers, this is my advice to you. 1, do your homework, okay? Style matters. There are always going to be a couple very carefully crafted exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, if you are writing a young adult novel, for example, most, there's always exceptions, so don't yell at me. Most young adult books are done on Photoshop. Okay, you're going to have images that have been combined, such as this one, where you've got the face that's artfully cut off at a certain point. The blade is obviously in a different image. You're going to overlay that with the font. You're going to make special adjustment, whatever you're going to do. It has been done in Photoshop with some base photography. Now, why does that matter? Middle grade, for example, let's pull one of those. Middle grade. This is not Photoshop work, although it probably maybe has been touched up in that. This is drawn. These are drawn pieces of art, drawn by an artist for your book. Very, very rarely are you going to see drawn art on a young adult novel. What this means, if you are a young adult artist and you choose to hire a graphic artist as opposed to doing Photoshop, it is going to be questionable to the readers what genre they are looking at. And here is the bottom line with covers. When you pick up a book, you should be able to tell exactly what you are getting. You don't ever want the reader to pick up a book and go, I don't know what this is. So this is what you do. Once you start narrowing down your art concept because you've gone to the bookstore and you've looked and you've researched and you've figured out what style direction you need to go, once you start getting some concepts back from the person you have hired, you want to take them to people and you want to say, not, is this pretty? There are lots of things that are pretty. You want to say, what genre do you think this is? Okay, so let's pull some more examples here. Let's pull these two. Okay. Dan Brown, Origin. Now, Dan Brown is a little bit of a cheap shot because everybody knows what style Dan Brown writes. But you hold up something like this and say, what genre is this? You will probably get some adult thriller guesses. Okay? Or at least in the adult fiction genre, they're going to be picking that. Now, you hold up something like this, and people are going to know that you are probably working with a young adult fantasy-ish type of concept. Okay? If you hold up a book like this, and they're like, oh, that looks cool, and you're like, thanks, and they're like, well, what's it about? And you're like, oh, it's actually a young adult fantasy paranormal blend with a little horror in it. They're going to be like, what? Why does this matter? I'll tell you why. People pick up this or this or this based on what type of books they like. So now they've picked up your book because they think the cover is cool or pretty or whatever. And then they turn it over. And let's say you turn over Splintered and you are reading Robert Langdon, Harvard. Oh my gosh. Why am I making a video today? I don't know. You're reading Harvard professor of symbology and religious iconology arrives at the oh my gosh, what is this? Oh, ultra-modern Guggenheim Museum to attend a major announcement. And you're like, Harvard? Museum? What? So you put it back on the shelf because it's not what you thought it was, right? And anyone who's actually looking for this doesn't pick this up. Do you see what I'm saying here? So you need to take your cover and you need to ask people, what genre is this? And if that genre cannot be identified by at least like 80% of the people that you ask, you are off base and you need to go back to the drawing board, okay? I had a book destroyed by this problem, and I kind of know what I was doing with covers, and I still made a fatal mistake, and it was on Venators, actually, and the original cover to Venators I thought was very cool. I thought it very much said paranormal. Unfortunately, to everyone except me, it said, "Hi, I'm a romance," which it wasn't. And let me tell you, the sales on that book were the worst and the very out of the gate that I'd ever experienced, and it was due to the cover, not the novel. Because anyone who read the book loved it, said it was my best work, it was the best one I'd ever done, which is true. And I agree, it is. But the cover art was not working for it. So first, ask people, what genre is this? Okay. The second thing that you need to do is you need to let go. Let it go. Because here's what I see happen over and over and over and over and over again. They do a cover, and I realize this is time consuming and it is expensive, and I lost like $1,000 on that little Venator misstep of mine. I understand the need to hold on to the original covers, but what happens is people will get the same comments over and over and over and over again. I mean, it's pretty, but I don't really know what the book's about, or I can't really see what I'm looking at, or why does she have a knife in her hand, or anything that is striking them as weird that they are telling you about. You cannot justify it. I see it all the time. Like they're like, oh, well, I mean, people say this, but obviously it's this. Well, not obviously. It's obvious to you because you wrote the book, you know the book, you decided on the concept. Everything is obviously making sense to you. Whatever other problems people are having, you really need to listen, and you have to be able to let go of that concept and start again. Because holding on to a cover that is not working for your book does nothing but hurt you. Nothing. You go to Instagram and you look at all of these bookstagrammers. What do? They post pictures of books. That's it. Because the covers are so important. Just because it is a nice piece of art does not make it a good cover image. There are so many things you have to take into account when making a cover. One of them being, what does it look like in thumbnail form? Who cares? Why is this important? Well, if you're an indie author, you are maintaining a lot of your income based off of ebook sales. Ebooks are sold on websites, and websites, unless they've gone to search for your book, exactly your book is popping up on the side, on the bottom, any place except that main spot, which means your cover is this big. If your cover is not readable as a thumbnail, nobody is going to click on it. That's what it is. So you have got to shrink that cover down and say, is it still visually appealing as a thumbnail? Get on Amazon. Start scrolling. Start looking. See what it is about covers and about books that makes them pop both when they are full up and when they are thumbnail form, and figure out how to get that look into your book. Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about is font. Font can make a book or break a book. Just because you have hired a cover artist who is brilliant at doing art does not mean they are brilliant at doing font. They are two different skill sets, okay? One, you need to understand that if you, like I said, have the wrong font on a book, it's going to ruin it. So you want to look at their past examples. You want to check out their font, compare it to what's selling, and see if they can even do what you are going to need done. Because you can absolutely hire one person to do the art and another person to do the font. I've done it, and I was so glad I did because that was one of the best font jobs I've ever had. There are special treatments that can be done to font to brand your font. So, for example, in the upcoming release of Venators here, if you look, you can see the treatment on this font. She's gone in, and what she did is she made it look like the middle was chinked out with a sword or a dagger, some type of metal weapon like was in the book. This makes such a big difference. It'll be on the spine, it's on the front cover, it will brand it, it makes it look interesting, and it overall flows with the book. Had she taken this subtitle font that she used and done Venators in that, this would not have had the same impact. Had she done something like this, okay, this splintered font is beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's very scrolly, would not have worked. Okay, it would have given the totally wrong feel. This is very whimsical, very Alice in Wonderland. It's exactly what it should have been. It is not Venators. Venators is dark fantasy. Venators is kick butt. Venators is fae and magic and vampires and werewolves and the whole 9 paranormal fantasy yards all blended into one awesome thing. And lots of action, lots of dark. This doesn't say that, okay? It really would have kind of jarred the feel that we were going for. And that wouldn't have been the worst thing that I've ever seen done to a book font. People just put on a font with, Times New Roman and call it a day, and you can't do that, guys. So both the art and the font are so, so important. Okay, I'm going to wrap this video up. Please let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll do my best to help and maybe get you guys to some resources that you need. If you need to cry about having to let go of a cover and how painful it's going to be, hey, I got you, been there, done that, drop it down below, and hopefully we can help each other. If you know of a cover artist that's good, please, drop it down below. If you want to know who I use, I'm more than glad to tell you guys. Let's chat. If you enjoyed this video and the content, please click subscribe. I would love to have you. And also look for the giveaway videos. I do a giveaway every month. So check and see where we're at on this month's giveaway, how to enter, and join me so that you can maybe get a box of totally free stuff. And watch for Venators, which will be coming April 10th, 2018. Talk to you guys later. Bye.